siamo pronti anche con l'acqua stavolta. Oggi siamo preparati. Incredibile. No, vabbè. E che di solito non ho con me l'acqua di solito, allora devo sempre alzarmi, andarla a prendere, so che non è niente di che, per carità. Eh, non succede niente di male, per l'amore del Signore, però comprendete anche che un minimo volevo andare per bene. E tanto apriamo l'acqua. Come sta? Tutto a posto. Oggi è stata un'attività live, anche grazie al mio moderatore amico e anche a Tostina ovviamente sempre con me.
Don't break the law. Is there anything else? Yeah, seriously. Don't break the law.
Questa è la picciona, esatto, questa è la picciona. Swarovski muto, sì esatto, a un certo punto se aveva deciso quello da parlare. Lo amo tantissimo, però ogni tanto sempre i logoroi ci prendo quando pare, c'è proprio il radar. Stavolta l'acqua. Scusa, intanto guardo qua la finestra perché nel mio palazzo è arrivato pronto soccorso. C'era 118, so cosa è successo. Casa mia, tutti stanno a posto, preoccupatevi.
I
A
once
buttare la
considered keeping
gatta.
some pets in my
Mo,
office, but soon gave up on the
così.
idea. It's just
No, è
not
la
right to
tolita.
keep small animals where they won't
No,
be able to see the sun.
fuori ci sta 118, non so perché. Non so chi è stato male nel mio palazzo. Mi spiace, cioè mi spiace che chiunque sia stato male perché... No, 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 vai tranquillo, non sei tu tranquillo, scusa, scusa. Sì, 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 non so cosa è successo, non so. Su, giusto, missione storia. Allora ho già fatto le idee, solo che l'ho fatta prendendo chest e facendo anche il mini evento che c'è adesso, che è una cavolata e bisogna premere al momento giusto. No, niente di che. Veramente. Quindi, finalmente facciamo la picciona. Chiacchiere in tranquillità, ovviamente a suo monte, perché dove volevamo iniziare.
We've been to so many places lately. What do you say we take a day off from adventuring and just find somewhere nice to relax? Let Paimon think. Where are some nice places we
Ecco,
could go?
scusa, per rilassarci.
Painter a visit at Mount Atsung. It's been a while since
Beh,
you last saw
certo.
that illuminated bird. She's always the one popping up out of nowhere and scaring us half to death.
Tacchina
Let's
quanto
surprise
vuoi.
her this time.
Tacchina quanto vuoi, ma c'ha un culo, è una roba, è bellissima, Cloud Retainer, veramente bella. Soltanto che non avevo assolutamente la voglia di prenderla, non perché non sia bella, anzi, ma perché in questo momento, mamma mia, veramente c'è una roba. Anche lì davanti, lei, vabbè, lei è bella tutta, ma adesso sto un attimo a esagerare, però è veramente bella in tutto. Vabbè, quindi ci vogliamo rilassare, quindi facciamo visita a Cloud Retainer, così. Perché ci abbiamo voglia. Ma io prima prendo una cosa interessante. E li ho presi tutti e tre. Mi sento figa perché di solito non le mancavo sempre. E questa volta ho mirato. È proprio là che ci aspetta, guarda. Aspetta, mi arriva.
Here we are, right outside her place.
Ma non ero lì. Vabbè.
You still remember the first time we came here? We even brought offerings and everything.
Ricordo la
When
prima
we told
volta.
her that Rex Lapis had been assassinated, she immediately threatened to squash Liyue Harbor. Paimon thought she'd be
Ma stava
impossible to get along with.
facendo.
But now that we've spent some more time together,
Stava
she's really
fingendo
not like
in
that
quel
at all.
momento.
We probably don't need to bring any offerings now that we've gotten to know her pretty well, right? Still, Paimon's got some snacks around here somewhere, so if she really wants something, we can just use that.
Ah,
Traveler, did something catch your eye?
ah sì. Allora, ovviamente nell'evento non siamo sorpresi di vederla in forma umana, perché credo che l'evento di Ligio Lantern Rite sia ovviamente dopo la quest. Quindi qua, per la prima volta, la vediamo in forma umana e siamo tipo... "Ah!"
Oh, what a
ragazza, che bella donna.
Yeah, you're right. All it takes is one look and you can tell she's someone special. As expected of that bird lady, really. She must have a whole bunch of Adepti friends from all over the country. Okay, but if we're both friends of Cloud Retainer, then we're basically friends by association, right? Want to go up to her and say hello?
Lascia a te le presentazioni.
Having more connections is a part of Paimon's job as your reliable guide. Paimon's got this. Hello.
È vero. Hello?
Paimon is Paimon. And this is the
Tono piacevole uniforme.
Paimon doesn't think we've met, but we're also friends of Cloud Retainer. May we have the pleasure of learning your name, Madam Adeptus?
You two... What is this tomfoolery? Has this shift in form so clouded your eyes that you no longer recognize me
Madonna
anymore?
santa.
Wait, you're...
Claudio Retainer?
Huh? You're the Illuminati?
Sei l'uccello illuminato.
But you look
Oh no.
human.
Questa live si prospetta un
Oh,
doppio
Donnie
senso
King's
terribile.
Scarcely any test of one's abilities. As for your confusion, one merely had no reason to indulge such inclinations before.
So, you're indulging now because...
C'è voglia.
One has made plans to pay a visit to some disciples at Liyue Harbor. Taking on a human form for such a trip is
Sei
simply a
molto
way to
appariscente
make matters
comunque,
less
mia
suspicious.
cara.
You? Worrying about keeping a low profile?
Spoccata dappertutto dal nulla.
Nowhere all over the place. In fact, Paimon can think of several examples. Like last year, when you suddenly appeared on the top of a roof without any warning. Or...
Dillo. Amor. Ammetto che... Che... Ammetto che ha tanti bei motivi per diventare il suo allievo.
Hey, didn't we agree not to bring that up unless she asked?
No, perché?
Oh, so you have taken care to follow the proper rules of etiquette after all. Most commendable.
Oh no, dovrò... Yuki sicuramente ne potrebbe sempre qualcosa, anche di piccolo.
This is all Paimon's got. You don't mind.
Che unghie lunghe che c'hai,
One
signorina,
has
ho visto
never
adesso.
found oneself lacking in basic comforts. On the contrary, it is
È
the
vero.
gesture that one values above all else. So long as you've shown proper respect and consideration, the quantity or quality of the gift is but a trivial matter.
That kind of makes Paimon feel a little guilty for trying to keep them for herself. Anyway, where were we before you reminded Paimon about the gifts?
Minchia, poi mi hanno visto gli spuntini e si è dimenticato il suo discorso. Io! Mi metti in cibo le mani che ho fame. Cosa stavamo parlando prima?
Ah, right. So by disciples, you must mean Ganyu and Shenhe. It's also been a while since we last saw them. Maybe we can come too.
One planned to extend the invitation even if you had not raised
Ah,
the
che
matter
carina,
yourself.
ci voleva comunque
Shenhe
invitare,
and
dai, che
Ganyu
carino.
should be quite pleased to see you again. However, one would first inquire as to the reason behind your visit here.
No,
You
ci
have cause to
volevamo
seek one's
letteralmente
company?
appoggiare sul prato e guardare le nuvole, ma letteralmente.
Yeah, we just found ourselves missing
Ci
you
mancavi,
and
non è
wanted to see
vero.
how you were doing. We were hoping you could tell us one of your stories.
Volevamo stare qui a
Learning your
rilassarci.
human form while we were at it.
Adesso.
Is that so?
Oh.
If there are no urgent matters at hand, then let us make haste for Liyue Harbor. Ganyu is likely still working at Yuehai Pavilion, so that shall be
E
our
dove vuoi
first
che sia
stop.
Gagno a lavorare? Quello fa.
Then let's all go to Liyue Harbor.
Per carità, lodevole. Però poverina, ogni tanto una pausa deve prendere sia lei che Catching. Madonna, la
Ganyu
questa
has
di
been quite busy
Arlecona.
with work as of late. One can count on one talon the number of times she returns to Mount Outsong each year.
Ah, comunque, nell'evento di adesso, praticamente, dove devi cucinare per gli altri, molto carino per di più, molto semplice, molto tranquillo. La prima, è vero, è Gagno che lavora troppo. i primi tuoi clienti sono i tre bimbi di Arlecchino, Line, Linette e Fremine, ok? Sono dei patati, uno. E secondo, è stata Arlecchino a dirgli, prendetevi una vacanza perché con tutto quello che è successo ultimamente a Fontaine forse vi serve una vacanza, altrimenti nella prossima missione fate casino. Però secondo me l'ha detto perché effettivamente voleva che loro si rilassassero. Arlecchino mi sta sorprendendo sempre di più. Io avevo pensato mille cose terribili su di lei. Così ci provo veramente fortissimo lei proprio. E, e niente, io non so. Ci sto facendo troppo pensieri su Arlecchino troppi, devo stare ferma. Allora, andiamo direttamente qua a 5.
Shanaha has also
Ma
secured
perché non
employment recently.
capivo?
In her course,
Ma perché non capivo? Non capivo qual era. Soffiavo adesso. Diciamo che avevo paura. Cucciolo subito. Che sapevo? Poteva fare. Poteva. Sarebbe stato nel personaggio. Non mi sarei arrabbiata con lei. E invece. Cioè, ho detto, ah, ok. È il classico fatui. E invece. Puff. Mamma. Ed è.
they think one was so easily mollified. One shall investigate everything with
Vabbè,
one's
Shane
own eyes
adesso
and decide for
lavora
oneself if their living
da
conditions are
Shaolin.
satisfactory.
Si sono trovati tutti e due un bel posto. Vabbè, Gagno lavorava già da mo'. Shane adesso lavora da Shanling e serve ai tavoli. Vabbè, ma essere
We're almost
attratti è
at
un
Way
conto.
Pavilion.
Però
Hey, do
diciamo
you think
che
Ganya
io mi
will be shocked to
aspettavo
see
un
Claire retainer like
tradimento.
this?
Perché bene o male era sempre andata così. Invece poi ha fatto qualcosa di wow. Ha mostrato delle sfaccettature interessanti. Ho detto, ok Arlecchino, hai la mia attenzione, ma veramente ce l'hai. Ce l'ha veramente.
Guess
Sto
we have no
scherzando.
idea if Shenhe and Ganya have ever seen her in this form before. Uh, wait,
Pensa
where
che
did she
sappiano
go?
qual è la forma della loro padrona. Cioè padrona adesso, la loro maestra padrona. È stupido. Per adesso sì. Per adesso sì. Poi vabbè c'è il dottore che mi piace un botto. Lui, anche se lui non si comporta da essere umano perché lui si crede, lui
Why
è
are you
egoista.
standing there, Cloud Retainer?
Che comunque l'egoismo è un
Pardon me
sentimento
now.
molto umano.
One shall stay here. You two can go and meet with her.
But
Perché?
why? Isn't it better if we all go together?
E siamo tutti assieme, in modo donare io.
If one were to proudly proclaim one's presence, Ganya would surely profess herself otherwise unoccupied and drop
No, ha
everything to
detto lui
attend to
stesso
one's
che lui
visit.
è egoista.
One fears
Mi
that would only
ricordo
result in her
quel
staying up
dialogo.
all night to
Lui,
make up for lost
la
time.
parte che è rimasta,
One
si
does
crede
not
anche
wish to
superiore,
trouble
ma è
her.
anche molto egoista.
Conversing
Cioè,
vicariously via
non
intuition
ha detto tutte e due le
suffice.
cose.
Do remember to inquire as to her recent well-being.
Con
Again,
Naida
do
l'ha
not
detto.
mention
Io
one's
sono la
presence
parte
here.
egoista.
Fair enough. Makes sense. Alright then, we'll just pass on your regards and...
A parte che ci vede Gaio da qua, però senza offesa,
Cloud
però.
Retainer?
Infatti. Sì, ma sei un po' cretina.
Busted.
Is that lady someone you know, Miss Ganyu?
Sì, la mia
She
mamma.
is indeed. I'm sorry, Huixin, but could we delay the upcoming
Non
meeting for a
esclude
little bit?
l'essere egoisti.
I believe my schedule today is quite full.
Però va bene.
Although,
È interessante per
perhaps I could
quello.
move some work to later in the evening.
Perché comunque il dottore ha
Not to
fatto
worry, Miss Ganyu.
un'entrata
I'll
in
make the
scena che,
necessary
mamma mia.
arrangements right away. Thank you, Huixin.
Appunto non lo esclude. Esatto, lo so.
Been a while, Ganyu.
Greetings.
E va
What
benissimo
brings you
così,
here
il
today?
dottore è
And
interessante per
Cloud
quello.
Retainer too. It's been quite some time since I last saw you in this form.
You
Vabbè.
are quite mistaken. One is not acquainted with this cloud retainer of whom you speak. One is simply
Costei.
a mere mortal passerby.
Madonna, quanto tsundere.
Seems she's not buying it.
Cani l'ha riconosciuta.
That was but a simple test. One did not expect you to be able to
Non è
recognize
scema,
one so
Gaglia, se t'ha
easily,
visto
especially
così
after
spesso
so
non
many
è che...
years of only seeing one's other form.
Sentiamo tutti i
But
giorni.
recognizing
Esatto.
you is, my responsibility as your disciple.
Madonna Gagno, la gentilezza.
An apt observation.
Vabbè.
One was simply passing by while attending to some important business. One thought it
Mi
would only
spiace,
be
Claudio
fitting to pay
Retainer,
you a
mi
visit
spiace,
while in the
basta.
area.
Oltre ai tuoi bellissimi
Wait,
occhi, che
I
li
wasn't
abbiamo molto belli,
aware of any important,
sto guardando altro.
Cloud Retainer's right.
Dio
We still
mio.
got something super important to do, so
Ah, lo so che
we
c'è la
can't
vocina
stay here for too
graziosa.
long today.
Oh, is that so? But it's been so long since we last saw each other.
Abbiamo abbandonato
One
Gagno.
simply desired to see you and had no intention of interrupting your work. A quick conversation should suffice for today. More
Ma
involved
santo cielo,
reunions
senza
will
offesa,
find
adesso lo
yourself
vedi
less
tutto,
often.
ma mamma mia.
I understand.
È bellissima,
That
è
should be
meravigliosa, è un
While one
apprezzamento perché
acknowledges the
tutto
amount
di
of
lei è
work
bello.
that you have to deal with every day, one must also remind you to rest. Though adepti blood flows
È
through
proprio
your
sinuosa.
veins, excessive exhaustion will still cause grave harm to your body.
Ecco, grazie, devi riposarsi.
Still makes one nostalgic to see you as you are now, respected and independent. When you were
E
young,
coccolarti
you
finché non
often
ti
begged one to cuddle you to sleep and
addormentavi,
you suffered
perché
from
aveva un
nightmares.
incubo.
Cloud Retainer, stop!
Oh no, è la classica mamma che racconta le cose quando eri piccolo. Ma sai che cosa faceva lei quando era piccola? Si accartolava tutto in un angolo e faceva le cose così. No, ti prego.
If you insist. We are running short on time regardless, so one will refrain from going into each and every story. Why don't you continue your conversation? One shall simply stand by and listen.
Che ansia. Se lei ascolta.
Wow, you've been to so
Scusa.
many new places since the last time we spoke.
Eh sì,
If you ever need anything, please just come find me at UA High Pavilion.
eh sì.
Also, forgive me for my presumptuousness, Cloud Retainer, but if you plan to continue appearing in this form, don't you think it'd be helpful to adopt a human name?
A human name?
No, sì, però mi fa molto ridere sempre.
Considering the sheer extent of one's renown, Cloud Retainer is surely too recognizable as a name.
Sai che ridere è questa delle nuvole? Chi? No, scherzo, scherzo, scherzo.
You really think so? Not that you're not famous or anything, but
That famous?
that famous?
Lo sapevo.
You presume to know the extent of one's illustrious
Scusami,
achievements.
scusami, scusami.
One would hardly think such a thing to be possible. Nevertheless, Ganyu's advice cannot be ignored. From this point on, when in public
Carina però che
occasions,
ascolta sempre i
be sure
consigli
to
delle
refer
sue
to one
discepole.
as Shenyun.
Canyon?
Cosa significa?
I assume that's a reference to the full record of Pristine Pavilion. An adeptus of years past would rise with the clouds and rest with the moon. They were enlightened and wise, free and unfettered.
Ok.
The writer referenced Master's name to
Ah,
describe her
quindi è il nome
carefree and spontaneous
della messa
nature.
di quest'autore.
Oh, that sounds super cool.
Che carino, carino.
It feels like only the most powerful of Adepti could rise with the clouds and rest with the moon.
Bello, dai, bello. Mi piace il
Actually,
significato.
Those lines were originally written to describe Cloud Retainer herself.
Huh? Wait, so you're really that powerful?
Lo so. Speriamo, perché il cervo mi interessava parecchio.
Did you truly take one to be nothing more than a bird of bigger than
Il
average
cervo
size?
con la media non ce la posso fare.
Not exactly.
Decisamente quello che aveva in mente Paimon. Che Carrete da solo un uccello più grosso.
To be
Ce la
fair,
posso fare.
Cloud Retainer rarely speaks of her past accomplishments.
Ciao YouTube.
The tales of her past
Abbi
can only be
pazienza.
found in ancient texts. It is said that once, a long, long time ago, there was a severe drought in Liyue.
Lo
Left
so.
with no choice, many people left their homes,
Vabbè,
while
ormai.
others spent day and night praying to the Adepti. Although I did not live through such tragedy, simply reading about it is enough to gain a visceral understanding of all the pain and desperation during that time. On top of the drought, a noxious gas also began to spread through the
Un gas
land.
nocivo?
If not for Cloud Retainer's efforts, much of Liyue would be nothing more than a barren wasteland today. The books had this to say about what happened. Upon arrival, the Adeptus borrowed the wind to retain the clouds.
L'altra ha detto con i capelli
Immediately, the
azzurri.
clouds gathered together. An abundant
Se
rain
intende
burst
Quisong
forth from the heavens.
è morta.
Drought and plague were both driven away, and the people were saved.
Cosa va la lancia? In questo momento non c'ho.
Mortal records add embellishments to
Lui aveva i
dramatize
capelli
past
bassi,
events.
non
One did
ricordo
merely
in
with
questo
one
momento.
art, and even if one had not interceded, the other adepti would surely have stepped in to help.
Even so, you stopped an entire drought! Can you really control the weather like the book said?
Un'altra che controlla il clima? Basta!
So it was Paimon's bad for calling you
C'è
a big
l'illuminato.
before.
Ma secondo te sarà per una roba del genere adesso?
Are you?
How laughable. A name is but a simple label we carry with us on our journey through
Appunto.
the world.
Ci vuole ben
Why
altro
be
per
offended by
offenderlo.
such a trivial matter?
Esatto.
In that case, Paimon will continue to call you whatever feels right in the moment.
Magari no.
Well, that is quite enough ancient history for now. Ganyu, have you had word from Shenhe? One has heard that she procured a job recently. Have you any thoughts on her workplace? And what, pray
Oh
tell,
no,
is her monthly
la mamma che si
remuneration?
preoccupa. Viene pagata bene.
Does she find herself overly inundated with work? Is she allowed time off during Lantern Rite?
That
Shen-
is a lot of questions.
There is no cause for concern, Cloud Retainer. I introduced Shenhe to her employer personally. Wanmin Restaurant's business has been booming recently. So, with Chef Mao being swamped with customers, and Shangling still off and out in search of new recipes, I introduced
Perché ricordiamo
Shenhe
che
to staff
Shen
the
per
restaurant.
con i clienti
Most
fa solo
excellent
una
indeed.
cosa.
One has had the
Sbattere la
pleasure
loro
of being
testa sul
introduced to
tavolo.
that family.
Se fanno troppo casino,
Shangling is
ovviamente.
kind and astute, while her father is loyal and reliable. One has no cause to believe that they will make Shenhe's work difficult.
Oh,
Now, it is almost time to partake in the victuals of noon. One shall visit Wanmin
va
Restaurant
bene, andiamo al
in person
ristorante a vedere
and
come
see
sta
how
Shen.
Shenhe is doing.
Huh? But didn't you just say that you had something important to do?
Le cose importanti sono vedere che voi state bene.
After we've eaten.
You may return to your work, on you. One shall see to this matter on one's own. There will be many an occasion to dine
Aw.
together in the future. One is certain the opportunity shall present itself most readily.
Of course, Cloud Retainer. Please take care. Traveler, Paimon, I'll see you some other time.
Ciao, Paimon. Ciao, Ganyu, mi raccomando, per favore. Riposa un pochino. Un
Pretty
pelo.
quick on the uptake there, don't you think?
Andiamoci a piedi, va. Ciao,
As
Madame
soon as you
Ping.
mentioned important business to
E
attend to,
quanti...
I realized that you
quanti
were just looking
culotti.
to cut the conversation short and not take too much of Ganyu's time. Is Paimon right?
No, in fact, it was not an excuse. One is indeed visiting Liyue Harbor for an important purpose.
Wait, for real?
Culli con la Q per dare
The
più...
moment is not yet upon us. Still, the truth will be revealed to you in
Posso
time.
scendere? Ok.
She really seems to be playing up the whole mysterious Adeptus thing right now. Is it because we just heard that cool story
Quindi
about her powers?
siamo qui davvero per una cosa importante, però già che c'era, ho voluto vedere anche le sue discepole. È una cosa molto dolce. È una cosa tanto, tanto, tanto dolce. Per controllare che stanno bene. Cambia tendere dolce, fa la zunderina. Guardala, che serve...
You get what I'm saying, right?
Cosa?
Yeah, how can I not? Not even fine food is enough to distract from the presence of a fine lady, eh?
Oh no.
I'm far more interested in getting her details
Sta
than
per
ordering
di
any
lei che
dishes.
ordinare un
Hey, how about you
piatto.
ask her?
Oh no,
You do it.
ci
No, no,
sta.
no.
Ci
I
vogliono
think you should.
provare.
Wait, she's coming.
Oh no.
What can I
No.
get for you today?
Greetings, miss. I was just wondering if you'd be willing to...
What would you like to order?
Uh, 2 servings of more meat to go. Good chat. Bye.
Welcome. It's been a while. May I take your order?
Ormai ce l'ha.
And greet us as old friends in the same line. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Tutto a posto, sì.
And this is?
Oh no, scene. Scene. Amore.
Master?
Ok, ok, se n'è accorta. E niente.
One does not recall ever revealing this form to you before. How were you able to ascertain one's true identity with such ease?
Shan-Yun, con tutto l'amore che ti voglio, sei abbastanza appariscente. Chi ti conosce un minimo lo sa, senza offesa. Io l'ho
I've
detto.
trained and lived with Master for more than 10 years. I would recognize you no matter
Appunto.
what form you take.
Punto. Oh, è
Is
scherzo commosso.
something the matter, Master?
È commossa.
Hardly. One simply learned of your employment from your letter and came to check on your well-being.
And check out the great food, too.
Indeed. It's almost lunchtime. My apologies. I'm still on the clock and can't talk for very long.
Well, if it isn't the traveler in Paimon. Are you here for Shenhe? The lunch rush isn't in yet, Shenhe. So, I've got things covered for now. Go
Oh,
ahead, sit down and enjoy some time with your friends. I'll let you know if things pick up.
che
Thank you,
carino,
Chef
Chef
Mao.
Mao. Che uomo dolce. Che uomo patatone. Forse perché comunque lei lavora. Guarda. Dove devo andare? Qui dietro? Ah sì. Ok. Ma ancora? Sta
It is just as one expected. The owner of Wanmin Restaurant is indeed a
Certo
most
che è ragionevole.
reasonable
Non
and
per
accommodating human.
per un attimo che parla con un
Still,
paio di
the
persone.
work here entails dealing with quite a varied group of people. Has this been difficult for you, Shenhe?
Credo che sta bene.
It's been manageable so far. I sometimes run into strange people, but I have figured out a way to deal with them.
Seems like you've been making progress. So by dealing with them,
Oh, no, ti prego.
you mean...
First, I try to talk sense into them.
Ah, devi fare
If
ragionare.
that doesn't work, I threaten them with violence. At this point, they usually
Tento di
decide
far
they are in
ragionare.
favor of a simple
Li minacci.
conversation.
Poi passo le minacce. Se non funziona, poi casualmente diventano civili.
Oh,
Scene non funzionano proprio così, ma apprezziamo l'impegno. Almeno
Oh,
non
a
passa
sensible
subito.
plan. One
Non
is
è un
glad
piano
to see you integrate
assennato.
so well into human society.
And you, Master? How have you been?
Simply marvelous. Though Mount Outsong has scarcely enjoyed your presence recently, one has hardly found the pleasure of one's own company to be lacking.
I see. Oh, just as expected of Master.
Sta dicendo che le mancate tutte e due,
I
esatto.
have missed Master quite a bit too. Even though work has been busy lately, I've already had a conversation with Chef Mao about taking some time off soon to visit.
Oh, you did? Do make
Ma che
note of such matters in
carina,
your
le
letters in the
mancano le
future. There's hardly a
figliocce.
need to keep one in suspense.
Whoa, her mood shot up just like that.
Ma perché ci
By
tiene
the
un
way,
botto.
Master, since you are in Liyue Harbor, have you had the chance to visit Ganyu?
Indeed. She is similarly preoccupied with her work. There was time only to exchange a few simple pleasantries.
Ganyu told us the story of Cloud Retainer's name. It was amazing. We never knew how powerful she was
Non è che adesso è una merda,
I see. In that case, allow me to also share a story about Master's past.
Oh?
Cosa?
Is that a problem, Master? I believe this to be a good
È un
topic of
bellissimo argomento di
conversation.
conversazione. Ti prego, Shana, dimmi di
No,
più.
not a problem. One was simply caught off guard. But no matter. Please, proceed. One is most curious to see how much of one's own conversational prowess you possess.
Master once participated in a race against
Con una
Mooncarver.
gara.
After Mooncarver lost, he insisted
L'abilità di
that
volare una
Master's
maestra avesse
ability
portato un
to
vantaggio
fly gave
naturale.
her a natural edge in such a contest. In
Scusami.
response, Master agreed to forego flying in return for being able to use one of her devices in the race. Mooncarver accepted, only to find Master with a brand new device on the day of the contest.
Huh. kind of device was it?
It was a mechanical vehicle made out of iron. What was it called again?
Electrobici?
An electro-powered bicycle?
Oh, you refer to the bicyclical
Lampo
thought
mobile
wheel.
biciclica.
One
Sì.
spent 49 days
Batmobile
conceptualizing and
addirittura,
crafting
dai,
it.
su.
It need only be infused with adaptable
49
energy,
giorni per
and it can cover
concepirlo.
thousands of miles in one day.
Quasi una
Oh,
Pasqua
it
praticamente.
boggles the mind why Mooncarver ever supposed he might best me in a contest of locomotion. Though he sprinted with all his might, he could barely keep up.
Ah, quindi gli addetti che facevano giocavano.
Alas, the one
Cioè
flaw of my
facevano i
mechanism lay in
coglioni.
its weakness against
Non è che avevano
mountainous
molto da
terrain.
fare con l'eternità.
One was thwarted
Vabbè,
mere
adesso
seconds
scherzo,
from
però sì.
victory, when it was thrown off course and failed to make it across the final stretch. Truly a most unfortunate turn of events. Anyway, do go on, Shenhe.
Master, that was the end of that story.
Ah, quindi non hai vinto?
Is that so? Huh. With you gone, one has seldom felt the desire to call upon those old fossils for another contest. What is a race without spectators?
Quindi ha
after all?
perso perché si è ribaltata alla fine. Mamma mia.
I'm lonely, Master.
Lonely? Huh. At one's age,
Ci sta se
entire
ti senti
human
sola, è
generations come and
comprensibile.
go in the blink of an eye. Even one's own self-directed musings can span several days and
Si
nights.
sente sola.
'Tis a most foreign sentiment. The mere mention of it is preposterous.
Ti senti molto sola. Ti mancano le
What
figliocce.
is the reason for that look upon your face?
Niente.
It's nothing. It's just... Well, Paimon gained a lot of respect for you after listening to that story of you summoning the rain and everything. But all it took was a few words out of your mouth and it's like you're back to being that illuminated bird again. I was just a little bit confused. Which one of the two
Qualche
is the real
ovetto.
fabricator?
To me, they are both Master.
Piccina.
One is the Master that's widely revered by the people, while the other is the
Oh,
Master that I respect
rispetto,
and adore.
adoro. Ma amore di mamma,
One
Chanel.
finds oneself exalted yet again with sweet words of praise and flattery of a most extravagant nature. You
Sì.
chose to exalt
Sì,
one with
vabbè.
your words, yet you refuse to grace Mount Outsong with your presence for any extended period of time.
Vabbè.
One would almost question the sincerity of your estimations. This is not to say that your words paint an inaccurate picture. One has always lived by a single ideal. Eschew all action and abide by no rule. One does as one pleases and speaks as one pleases. Others may critique or praise as they see fit. Yet what
She got like, what, 2 sentences of flattery from her disciple? And it's as if her ego was about to burst.
Do you have any empty tables?
Adesso scendo a tornare al lavoro.
Hey there, could we get another fish stew?
E si sta riempiendo ovviamente.
I'm hearing more guests come in. I should get back to work.
Alright, good luck with the lunchtime rush, Shenhe.
Mm-hmm. I'll try my best.
Ma non... Paimon deve sempre dare una quantità infinita di piatti. Quelli noi paghiamo.
Paimon's gonna feast!
one is fond of all kinds of delicacies and delights in a multitude of flavors. The dishes here demonstrate no shortage of
Aw.
culinary skill. Their unique flavor profile has left one more than satisfied.
Non è vero,
In
la
fact, one
macchina
has
da
been struck
cucina.
by quite a fit of inspiration. One has already
Supreme
begun to
addirittura.
conceptualize the next generation of supreme cuisine machines.
Everything's so tasty. A bit too hot at times, but still super tasty.
I'm sorry, miss, but our tables are full.
Shall we try somewhere else, Granny? But it smells so delightful. Can we really not eat here? My poor legs can't go on for much longer.
Well, you could always check with some of the other guests and see if anyone's happy to share a table.
Okay, I'll ask around.
Oh, beh, dai, noi tanto possiamo. 2 tavolini, 2 sedie. Cavolo, scusa, è anziana, c'ha anche ragione. Abbiamo proprio due sgabelli perfetti.
Excuse me. Would you mind letting us share a table with you? There are no empty tables left, so... Ah, well, Paimon doesn't mind. What about you guys? Great! Thanks so much. My name is Shuyu, and this is my granny, Yuendai.
Ok.
Granny? Yep. Is there something wrong with that?
Il problema è che il fatto che sia sua nonna.
No, Paimon's just a bit surprised. She looks so young.
Giovane.
Yeah, a lot of people compliment Granny on her youthful looks, but she's actually much older than she appears.
Scusami. Pronto? Tutto a posto?
Granny, why don't you take a seat? Come on, it's not polite to stare.
È vero.
Oh, have we met before?
No.
Oh no, è adepta anche lei.
Just a fated meeting then. Please, take a seat.
Ah sì?
What would you like to eat, Granny? I can order for you.
Che carina.
I want raised earthworms. They always pop up out of the ground after a
Lombrichi?
rainstorm.
Impensabile lombrichi.
No, not this again. Granny, there's no
Ah,
raised
okay.
earthworms on the menu. Raised earthworms? Well, that sounds weird.
Paimon, dai.
Do people
Stai
actually
zitta. Devo andare
Right,
all'Egitto.
that's what Paimon was thinking too. Need any help? Help? Oh, do you mean with Granny?
Ti aiutiamo.
Thanks, that's nice of you to offer. Granny has pretty bad dementia, so her memory's getting worse all the time.
Ah, ok.
She's always saying things that sound kind of confusing.
È normale.
Actually,
Si
her
invecchia.
memory's been bad ever since I was little.
Ma poverino.
It's so bad lately that I even have to remind her who I am every morning. They died young. It's just me and Granny now.
E come hai fatto a sopravvivere tu e la tua nonnina?
Oh,
O lavora la bimba?
but it's okay. Don't feel bad. Granny loves me a lot, and I love her a lot too.
Beh, sono sicura che vi vogliate bene. Il problema è che chi porta a casa il pane?
Wow, you're really tough for your age, kid. You're too kind.
C'è i soldi più che
And
altro.
me? Oh, what about me?
You're tough too, Granny. Plus, you're really gentle, and you're always there for me.
Il fermaio della signora che
And it's
mi...
hardly as if I forget everything. I still remember the important things. Wait, what was that really important thing again? Ah, I remember now. It was a dream. I had a dream where everything was dark. Someone was standing in
Un
front of
sogno
me.
di una donna
She
che
told
dice
me to
cercami.
come and find her.
Sarà
And
libero.
that once I'd found her, I would be free.
Boh.
Huh? That sounds super important. But how come you've never told me about it before?
It was just a dream, so I forgot about it. But I'm in a good mood now, and somehow I remembered it again. Ah, you know, I believe I've had this dream a great many
Adesso
times.
inseguiamo i sogni.
But
Wait, so you have a reoccurring dream where someone's talking to you? That sounds so
Ma no,
creepy.
con che ragionamento è?
Unlikely. Her eyes are clear and her breathing remains calm and level. One sees no signs of possession.
Ah sì, sogni qualcuno ti parla.
Who do you take me for? Is one not an adept? Am I not an expert?
Huh, you're right. Paimon almost forgot you're the
An expert.
In that case, do you still remember what the person in your dreams looked like, Granny?
not
Ho
anymore.
guardato la coscia di Claudio delle Tendere.
Although, I have a sense that she looked rather like me. But not as I am now.
A younger version of Granny?
Sì, è stata giovane anche lei, incredibile.
Weirder and weirder. What is going on here?
Perché deve essere strano?
As one said, fate must have brought us together. You may leave this situation to me.
Are you sure? So, what are
È
you...
vero, loro sono state gentili, si sono presentate subito, noi invece no, ci siamo...
Paimon,
Just Shenyun is fine.
thank you all so much for offering to help. But first, I'm sorry for asking, but how do you want us
Non
to pay you
prendiamo
back?
soldi da questa bimba, per
Oh,
favore.
we don't mean in payment for this.
Sì, esatto, non...
Thank you so much.
No, perché prendiamo soldi per i...
But
No.
Miss Jenny, what exactly
Già tanto
do
si
you
possono
know
permettersi il
about this
pranzo.
All we have to go off is that dream. Where do we start?
That is elementary. Since her dreams portray her younger self, then we shall retrace the steps of her youth. Once we have revisited those
Molto
places,
semplice
her
di per sé.
memories will likely return.
Sounds like a plan. So, Granny, do you remember which places you went to when you were young?
Why, of course I do. The heavens above, the earth below, the wispy clouds, and the emerald mountain streams.
Okay, taking that as a no. I might have an idea.
Ah sì?
Once, when I was really little, my dad told me the Granny
Eroina
used
di
to be a
arti
martial artist
marziali.
who saved loads of people from a disaster.
Una catastrofe.
If it's true, then maybe they wrote about it in the history books or something.
E nessuno si ricorda di questa nuova
Martial
vecchietta.
arts heroine? Oh, Shinto knows tons about Liyue's chivalric traditions. If anyone knows about the heroes of the past,
Shinyu,
it's
perché?
him.
Are you leaving already? But I'm still hungry.
Lasciala
I'll go order
mangiare.
some food, Granny. If there's nothing on the menu, you...
It seems we must part ways for now. The Traveler and Paimon are bound for the Feiyun Commerce Guild, while Yuendai and Shuyu shall remain here and partake of their lunch. As for myself, I have matters to discuss with Streetward Rambler.
Streetward Rambler? Oh, you mean Madam Ping!
Precisely.
È vero che si chiama
Let us
Amica dei
meet at Eugene
Sentieri.
Terrace once you are ready.
Va benissimo, andiamo a parlare con Shinyu. Siamo già a 42 minuti, abbiamo fatto niente. Abbiamo parlato con Gani, abbiamo parlato con Shen, abbiamo parlato con la nonnina. Abbiamo scoperto che almeno il papà, ma credo che il papà sappia bene cosa ha fatto la mamma, in teoria. Probabilmente anche qua andremo verso le 2 orette,
It's you two. What brings you here?
Shincho! Great, we found you! We wanted to ask you about something.
That's not a whole lot of information to go off of. I don't know if I can say for sure.
Va bene.
I can't pinpoint her identity from your description alone. But
Eroina senza
considering her
nome.
age, I am reminded of a nameless heroine who's been featured in various chivalric novels.
Nameless heroine?
That's right. The novels often speak of a great drought from 50 years ago. As the people suffered, a nameless heroine appeared and began to clear away evil spirits and bandit camps. The people idolized her, but never learned her name. All they knew was that she always acted alone. Later, though,
Innamorata
she supposedly
dell'esorcista.
fell in love with a
La
similarly
animo
noble-minded
nobile.
exorcist from Mount Tianheng. They were well matched in more ways than one, often fighting after the drought ended. The heroine and the exorcist left the public eye and began living a reclusive life in the mountains. All that the way this nameless heroine faded from fame into obscurity later in life is not too dissimilar
Ah,
from Miss
ok.
Yuendai.
Allora ok, ci sta, se qualcuno non la ricorda, essendo che era senza nome.
Thanks a lot, Shinto. We knew it'd be worth talking to you.
It's nothing at all. Just something I came across while reading. I did do a bit of extra research on her story, but it was just out of personal curiosity.
Well, Paimon still thinks that's super cool. Oh, wait, Shincho, if you've read up on her, do you know of any places often associated with her?
Esatto, i posti.
Let me think. In the novels, the nameless heroine
La
always
locanda,
appeared near one of three places.
I monti, il
Wangshu
picco.
Inn,
Ok, Monti
the area just
Giulien.
north of Jueyun Karst. Perhaps the real-life heroine who inspired the character was also often seen near those three places. That... You're welcome. To be honest, I found some parts of the story confusing when I first came across it. If Miss Yuendai was indeed the original inspiration for the character,
Ah,
she
vedremo.
may just be able to help me put the pieces together. It's rare for a chivalric hero to fade into obscurity during their lifetime, even after retiring from the public eye.
Si sia malata gravemente, beh, lei è malata perché è vecchia. Cioè, è normale, amministrazione purtroppo si invecchia.
I've never understood why someone would go to such lengths to erase themselves from public memory. It's almost as if she was...
We'll be sure to tell you if we manage to uncover the truth.
That's a deal. Perhaps, behind the truth of it all, there lies a story more fantastical than any work of fiction.
Paimon feels like we just learned so much from Shincho. A drought, a nameless heroine, a life... Oh, right! There's a drought in this story, too!
La città è molto comune lì. Come?
Well, they used to be. But people have long since developed methods to prevent them. Like by cultivating the soil or digging canals.
Ah, sì, è... purtroppo. Cioè,
So while
insomma,
droughts
fanno
do
bene
happen
adesso.
from time to time, they are rarely regarded as true disasters. The drought
50
50
anni
years ago is
addirittura.
probably one of the worst we've had in the last several centuries. The crops withered, the streams ran dry, and the monsters in the mountains became rabid and agitated. Countless caravans were
certo.
attacked, and people who...
That sounds awful.
Yeah, and that's exactly why the nameless heroine was so beloved. She must have been someone of true integrity, to do so much for the people while asking nothing in return. Still, as terrible as that drought was, it was nothing compared to the truly calamitous disasters that befell this land in ancient times. They say that back in those days, disasters were both more severe
più grave che
and
più
more common.
comune. Infatti,
Only the strongest of
infatti
adepti
sia
could
più
hope to
grave che più
dispel the
comune che
ruin and
niente.
devastation. Do you have any other questions?
We're good for now. We're just going to head back and meet up with Miss Yen. Paimon hopes that Granny Yuendai will be able to remember more of her past. She used to... Anyway, we'll be off now. See you some other time.
It's no problem at all.
Ma comunque è sempre gentile Shin. Di per sé. Andiamo dalla nostra Madame Ping. Che anche Madame Ping purtroppo non la vedremo mai nella sua forma umana, perché è già in forma umana, è solo più anziana.
I have recorded the tune that you requested. I hope it will be of help to you.
Oh, il disco.
Oh, thank you. Straightward, Ping, what has amused you so?
Oh, it's no serious matter. I was just reminiscing about the last time I saw you in this form. Time has wrought such change in this world, and yet you appear just the same as ever.
Time has little bearing on one's existence, nor has one keenly felt its effects whilst dwelling at Mount Outsong. Nevertheless, Ping, one would like to seek your counsel on a personal matter.
Oh, why so?
Cos'è questa formalità?
I must say, you're making me a little nervous.
Well, the inquiry is as such.
Che carina che è.
Approximately how much mora would one need to afford a comfortable life in the harbor, not unlike the one that you yourself lead?
It does not require as much as you
Non tanto
think.
quanto tu possa pensare.
Still, do you mean that
Cloud Retainer, Madame Ping!
Vuole trasferirsi qui per stare vicino alle sue bimbe.
Nothing save for some trivial matters. Have you unearthed any useful details?
Shinjo has a theory.
Che lavoro potrebbe
Save
fare?
it for when Chuyu and the Yuendai have joined up with us again.
do not be troubled, young lady. Here.
Oddio no, si
have
passa la
some tea.
nonna.
Thank
Ah, no,
you
okay.
so much. What do you think, Chuyu? Does it match up with what you know of your granny?
According to the story, the nameless heroine eventually
Ah,
fell
nonna.
in love with an exorcist from Mount
Ah no, che
Piano.
è messo lì.
Maybe that's my grandpa. I don't have many memories of him, but there was this one time I found a box in our
Strani
attic full of a bunch
sigilli.
of weird sigils.
Non ho visualizzato i
I think
luoghi.
so too. Granny might remember something once she's returned to a familiar place.
What marvelous tea. I can taste the dew's sweetness in this cup. It's as if I was taking a stroll in the mountains.
Is that so? Then please drink as much as you like. There's no need to hurry. At our age, it's always nice to slow down and take the time to appreciate pleasant conversation among friends.
Thank you.
Okay.
Niente, dobbiamo
since we're
riposarci
at the
prima.
time, can I ask you something?
Sure thing. What would you like to know?
I have a secret I
Un
want to tell.
segreto. Sono un adepto. Anche io, esattamente. Scusa, come sono gli adepti? Vabbè, che anche Yuki è una mezza adepta, ma
Well, I've been kind of meaning to ask ever since we started talking in the restaurant.
adepta in incognito. Una nuova serie.
Adepti in disguise?
Oh! About that.
Well, you guys just seem
Esseri
super
molto
special.
speciali.
Plus, I think I might have heard Miss Shen Yun
Minchia,
call
Shen
herself
Yun
an
non sa
adeptess.
tenere l'incognito neanche a provarci.
Must have been a slip of the tongue. Xianyun, since you were the one who, misspoke, maybe...
One is indeed an adeptus. Is that of some concern to you?
Ma non credo che le sto preoccupa.
I knew it. Well, one time when I was a
Vedi
little
una
kid,
gru illuminata
I
di
saw
un
a
bianco
pure
puro.
white
Oh!
illuminated crane. I had this super high fever, and Granny wasn't around. I was feeling all icky and gross. But then this snowy white crane flew down from the sky. She put me on her back and flew me to her cool adeptus house
Oh!
and fed me some sort of
Aw.
magic potion. When I woke up, I really wanted to thank her, but I was too sleepy to stay awake, so I never got the chance.
Oh!
So I just kind of wanted to ask if maybe any of you have ever met an adeptus like that?
Ma c'hai proprio la dolcezza di mamma tu.
The only two we've ever met are blue and white and black and brown. Have you ever met one that's pure
Ah,
white,
tutta bianca.
Never has one met an adeptus with such features. One surmises such a description is but a hyperbolic embellishment
forse era
that
la
oft
nonna.
results from
Forse era la
narrative
nonna.
accounts.
That's weird. Was it really just a dream then? Well, even if it was just in my head, it doesn't matter that much anyway. All I really want is to help Granny recover her memories.
Secondo me la nonna era questa glu bianchissima, perché effettivamente quando vedete nera è blu e bianca.
Three locations, we just need to visit
E anche
them one by
verde,
one.
però ok.
Let's go to Wangshu Inn first.
Okay, I'll go get Granny.
Una glu completamente bianca, deve essere una roba bellissima da vedere. Anche perché, cioè, non so come, cioè, gli animali comunque nella vita vera siano completamente bianchi.
Wangshu Inn. Wangshu Inn.
Do you remember this place, Granny?
Yes. The
Il
fish
pesce.
here is very delicious. And if you look out into the distance, you can always spot a bird that's been left behind by its flock.
Ciao.
I believe I used to have a room here. It had a window. Yes, I spent a lot of time looking out that window. Which room was it again? Let me look.
I'll come with.
Paimon's still having some trouble understanding what she's talking about, but if she's so familiar with this place, that must mean she lived here, right? Wait, huh?
Ciao, ciao. Ciao, mio amor. L'altro mio marito.
I sensed a non-human presence and decided to come take a look.
Allora,
If you're here,
ciao conferma.
then there's likely no trouble afoot. I suppose there's no
No,
cause
no,
for
no,
concern.
no, tu fai solo il tuo dovere
It's
perché
been a
sei
while,
bravo.
Cloud Retainer. I see you have returned to your previous form.
Perché arriva Xiao. Comunque la vecchia si è unita a noi un'anziana signora che forse era è un'antica adepta, una gru completamente bianca che salvò la nipote da una febbre alta. E adesso stiamo cercando di farle recuperare i ricordi.
Behold, the glory of one's newest invention, the Bang Bang
Cosa sto
continuous
vedendo?
fire mechanism. Hands up and surrender, or be prepared to face the full might of the Adepti.
An impressive imitation.
Paimon knows her all too well.
Even so, Cloud Retainer was not always as ostentatious as you describe. You may be unaware that her talent
Paimon
with
che deve
Adepti
fare la
sigils is
scema.
just as formidable as her skill in mechanics. The Archon War reached its peak after Guizhong's death. The Cloud Retainer who fought beside me in those devastating battles was taciturn and solemn.
La morte di Guizhong è stata devastante. Cioè, Jolie ha perso l'amata. Gli altri hanno perso comunque un'amica. No, io se trovo se faranno una terza parte di Jolie con la cosa di Guizhong, io piango, ma letteralmente. Tanto ormai ho già pianto per 1000 cose su questi videogiochi, che ormai così io non ce la potrò fare. Madonna santa.
A cloud retainer who barely talks? Paimon can't picture it. But what happened after that? If you were so powerful in your human form, why did you decide to take up your bird form again?
Once one had bid farewell to the world of mortals, what
Questo è
use
vero.
would one still have for such a shape?
Tanto ormai
When
è
dwelling
inutile
between
tornare.
mountain and forest, away from the struggles and troubles of the mortal world, a mortal form is hardly the most fitting of choices.
After the
Traumi,
war,
mamma mia.
Cloud Retainer retired to Mount Outsong.
Comunque ho perso
only revealing
un'amica
herself to
importante.
the occasional visitor,
Cioè,
and always in her avian form. Although I do believe there was an occasion some 30-odd years ago when she decided to don her human form.
One believes there is little need to relive bygone matters.
a parte amica ce l'hanno sempre detto anche quando c'era stato l'altro Lantern Rite, mi sembra che Guizhong è una persona dolcissima, è per questo che Claudia un po' la invidiava, nonostante tutto lei era sempre così dolce.
Granny, are you okay?
Back then, at this place,
Perhaps this conversation should end here. I shall take my leave now. Should you encounter
Ciao.
any trouble, you need only call my name.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.
However, given that you are traveling with Cloud Retainer, I trust you are in good hands.
Mamma mia.
I think Granny is finally beginning to remember her past.
Slowly now, calm your mind and recount what has been recalled.
a long time ago, I stayed here to recuperate from my illness.
Oh, ma lo canna avanti.
So what Shinjo said was true. You did
Quello sì, però nonostante tutto, però erano non salvava rancore per nessuno.
I'm very sorry, but I can't even remember the name of my illness. The only thing I can remember is that it took a great toll on me. I was confined to my room in Wangshu Inn, where I spent many days unconscious. I'd come to every once in a while and stare at the migrating birds outside the window.
Ricordo
It
che
was a
piangevo.
solemn sight. I remember crying, but I'm not even sure I knew why. One day, I met a traveling merchant. Upon hearing of my illness,
sono quei
he
baffi?
sold me a bottle of soul-revitalizing tea pills. He told me that the pills were concocted using Adepti blood and could be used to alleviate my symptoms. Sure enough, I made a full recovery.
Wait, but if your illness remained dormant for several decades, are you saying that what you're going through now is just a relapse of what happened all those years ago? And it was all thanks to the pills that you managed to keep the symptoms in check? Paimon's brain kinda hurts. Do you remember anything
I'm sorry, I don't.
Oh, ma sei inutile, santo Dio. Chissà che cavolo ti ha dato quell'uomo.
Hey, you're not useless. You've done so much for me. Watched me grow up. Raised me. How could you say that about yourself?
Oh, fret not, dear child. Granny was just a bit frustrated.
È normale.
The recovery of a person's memories is a gradual process. Finding pieces of one's past is always superior to not finding anything at all.
Grazie,
Let us
Sciaglione.
make haste to the next location.
Next location. Next location. Oh, why don't we go to the area?
Ok, ai monti.
This is really a landmark there, so where should we start? Oh, after all, if she was there for any length of time, then she would have
Oggi poi si messa a far girare le sue cartelline, va bene.
got her thinking cap on today.
Ma sono tutti lontani dal telepo. No, c'è questo qua. Andiamo. Ma c'è un evento casuale adesso? Vabbè, solo perché ho gaming.
Stabilize. Settle down. The hunter comes. The hunted.
Mighty mythical beast! Alley-oop!
Perfetto.
Whoa, why are there so many treasure hoarders here? Guess it's time to round up the bad guys.
Mamma mia.
I will have order.
Ragione. Vabbè.
Do you remember anything about this place, Granny One Day?
Let me think. I feel like I've
Ok,
been
è stato
here
già qui.
before, but I don't think I stayed here too long.
Ok, se
I
li ho
might
voluto
have
riposare, ok.
Got it. That's okay. There's
Wait a second. If I remember
Ho
correctly,
portato dei
I
dolcetti.
believe I brought... Ah, yes. I brought some sweet snacks with me. Go on, take some. You need to eat a lot if you want to grow big and
Ci dai
strong.
dolcetti. Che dolce donnina.
my mom will help herself.
No, no. Via cinghiale, non ci voglio. Oppala. Qui non c'è niente.
Hyman sees an abandoned house. Why don't we take a break over there?
This place.
E dove hai ricevuto le medicine?
Did you remember something, Granny?
I remember. Shouyu
È nato
is where your father was
qui.
born.
Qui ha partorito qui?
It was a moonless night. I had been injured, so your grandpa was supporting me. We fled together with some being in the fog behind us in hot pursuit. I had exhausted my strength when the labor pains came on, so we took refuge in this house. Your grandpa set up a barrier outside, but neither of us knew if it could hold the monsters back. I remember that night. I remember falling to my knees, reciting a prayer over and over. I alone am the source of this sin. Punish me as you wish for forsaking my oath, but
No.
spare my innocent.
Sin? Oath?
Hai fatto qualcosa di
Did you
male,
do
vero?
something wrong?
I don't know. I don't remember. I only remember praying in the darkness with all my strength until the sun
Dov'era? Dov'era
finally
tuo
rose
marito?
again and the fog cleared out. eventually, the house was filled with the sound of my baby's first cries. That baby was your father. I remember I clutched him tight to my dad. He was my pride and joy. And so are you, Shuyu. You're so much
Palesemente.
like him, but you're always going to be different from me. Why?
Perché lui la stava difendendo dai
What did
mostri
I
fuori.
do? I don't care what you might have done, Granny. You'll always be the person I love more than anything.
You're too sweet, Shuyu. I'm lucky to have you with me. If not for you, I would not have had the courage to come here, to try to remember.
Che lei era dentro giustamente per il travaglio e lui era fuori a cercare di difendere la barriera e lei dai mostri.
One place left, yes?
If one recalls correctly, the next place should be Qingyun Peak. You and I, how fares your health?
Ah, abbiamo trovato il posto giusto.
I may be a bit slow, but I'll do my best to keep
E vabbè,
up.
si sono tolte i sottotitoli,
Sorry
scusate.
to keep everyone waiting.
Climb on, I shall carry you to the top.
Ti porti in spalla.
Oh, such lightness of weight.
All those who grow old grow frail in the end, do they not? First, you lose your memory, then your health. Eventually, you end up losing everything.
More companions!
My only wish is to depart this world with a lucid mind, to free myself of this torment
Oh, ma cazzo.
and the burden it places upon others.
Che grosso come gesto.
Is there time to sneak in?
All unclaimed articles should be turned in. So, neither of us saw anything here, right?
Non hai visto, per fortuna.
We're finally here. Does this place feel familiar to you, Granny One Day?
Let me see.
La chest.
How strange. Had I lived here when we were at Wangshu Inn
Una
and
di
the
quelli da
abandoned
far
house
esplodere
earlier?
con
Though I
i
couldn't
palloncini.
remember everything, I still felt a sense of familiarity.
Quando lui si trova lei faccio tutto sneaky, non se ne accorge nessuno.
But here, I don't have that feeling. Perhaps I did come here in the past, but it just didn't leave
Pigliata.
a strong impression on me.
Did the stories get it wrong then?
Poi ho detto, dai, sarà anche piccola. Lussuoso. Minchia. Cioè, non ho ricercato.
Also the only thing we have to go off of. Paimon was hoping this place would jog Granny Uendai's memory just like the others.
I'm sorry to disappoint you too.
Ma lei non ci sta
It's
deludendo.
alright. We're not going to give up yet.
Well, thank you. If all... Huh? That way. What's that mountain?
Oh, let Paimon look! Huh? Isn't that Mount Outsang? Looks like we've come full circle.
Mount Outsang.
Lo sa.
Mount Outsang.
Ah, adesso so come si pronuncia sto monte.
Granny, are you okay?
Eh.
Don't push yourself, Granny. It's okay if you can't remember.
Mount Outsang, What am I really?
Mount Outsang holds some familiarity to you?
It does, but I can't go back.
Are you feeling unwell?
My head, it feels all heavy and dizzy. What is wrong with me?
Miss Xianyun, is there anything you can do?
Let us go to Mount Outsang.
But
Fret not, all will be well. You and I, you have already given more than enough to the pursuit of this endeavor. You may leave the rest to me. I've prepared something that can aid you in suppressing the fear in your heart, and
Sì.
restoring your lost memories.
Wait, really? When did you do that?
Non ti preoccupare.
I never leave anything to chance. All will reveal itself when we arrive.
Ah, forse la questione importante che diceva. Oh, grazie. Ma ce n'è un altro! Ma com'è possibile? Non ci credo. Questo lo faccio dopo, prometto. Non ora.
Here, this is it.
È vero, l'avevo visto, stava guardando all'inizio della quest.
Isn't this the mechanism that you were tinkering with when we first got here? Oh, is it another invention of yours?
Precisely. A recent one at that. I am most pleased with the result.
Suspenso somnium,
the
come?
somnium mechanism. It periodically releases a soft breeze, which when paired with a gentle adeptal tune, can help the listener subconsciously relax, soothing agitation and anxiety, relieving exhaustion and
Minchia, ma me
insomnia.
ne deve dare
Its
30 di
potential
questi
uses are
cosi.
numerous indeed. And of course, it can also aid in the
Mi devi
recovery of
dare
lost memories.
30 di sto robo che ha l'agitazione e l'ansia.
Cool gadget! But if you had it all along, why did you keep it to yourself until just now? We could have come to Mount Absong right off the bat and saved time on the
L'avevo provato molto bene.
How preposterous. Had you and I not recalled much of her past through her own efforts, the device would have nothing to draw upon. We Adepti can only help those who first resolve to help themselves. Had she lacked such determination and strength of character,
Sono
one would have
d'accordo.
little to offer in way of
Sono
assistance.
assolutamente d'accordo.
Paimon thinks she gets it now. Hey, what's that other thing?
As previously mentioned, a gentle adeptal tune is required to take full advantage of the mechanism. One secured such a tune from Streetward Rambler. Only with...
Whoa, Paimon can feel what you mean.
Ma
Paimon's
dammi
body
questo
feels light as a
dispositivo, ti pago
feather.
come vuoi.
It's as if she's lying down on a warm patch of grass.
And you and I. Is the mechanism helping you to relax?
E vabbè, lei è già andata.
It appears she has already succumbed to the depths of reverie. Come, join
lo
one
so.
on this side.
È un'ora e 13, dai, neanche...
The drought is over. But why do you look like you want to cry?
The potion. It's nearly run its course.
I've never regretted meeting you. Not even for a second.
Oh.
Please. Please, no. Have you forgotten? This is the world you left behind. One of gentle breeze and morning dew, perfectly straddled betwixt the realms of heaven and earth. This is your home. This is where you belong. You should have never left.
Sì, era lei. La grucutta totalmente bianca.
The me
So that is the truth. No wonder this place is so familiar.
Granny! Granny, are you okay?
Cloud Retainer.
Your memories have returned.
Wait, did you just call her by her full name? Does that mean you already knew each other?
Yes. I now remember
Non so vuoi sapere.
everything. Granny, please don't cry.
I'm here. I'm here.
Carina lei.
Oh, don't worry, my dear child. Granny is fine. I'm so sorry, everyone. You've gone to so much trouble on my behalf.
No, abbiamo aiutato.
It's all come back to me now. The most important thing that I had forgotten was the truth of what I once was.
One can sense the guilt that now plagues your conscience. Reclaiming a truth long buried is
Dai,
sure to come
racconta la
with a
storia.
myriad of complex emotions.
No, it's okay.
Ah,
Now that I've
fa lei.
remembered,
Vabbè,
I must
qualcuno la
face
racconti,
my
sono
memories
curiosa.
head on. Shuyu, everyone, I cannot thank you enough for all your help.
Sì, sono curiosa.
I'm
Please, Granny, don't force yourself. What happened in the past doesn't matter. I love you more than
Non credo
anything.
che voglia.
Nothing you say
Vuole
can
soltanto
change
mettere a
that.
posto un paio di robe.
I know, dear child. My feelings for you are exactly the same. It is for this reason that you deserve to know the truth. Some time ago, I made a terrible mistake. One for which I could never atone.
Is this the sin that you mentioned in Joyun Karst? What
Lasciatela finire.
I am, in truth, not a human being. My real form, one that I held for centuries, was that of a wild crane. I spent many,
Ecco perché
many
mangiava
years
lombrichi.
living on Mount Outsong, bathing in the soft breeze and drinking the sweet dew of the mountains. At some point, I somehow gained wisdom and sentience. The Lord of the Mountain, Cloud Retainer, though she never took me on as a formal disciple, I always saw her as my master.
Mi stavo a fianco e
Whenever she
osservavo.
took out her tools to work on mechanisms or new inventions, I would also stand next to her and watch. I even contemplated completing my training and becoming an adeptus in my own right. I followed her teachings, and time gradually passed us by. Until that fateful day 50 years ago.
50 years ago?
Durante la siccità.
That's right. Master regaled me with many stories of her past deeds. From them, I learned how she had saved people from a similar crisis in the past. She was the one I looked up to the most. More than anything, I dreamt of becoming an adeptus like her. I wanted to travel the land like she had, relieving suffering wherever I went. But I was still far from being a real adeptus. I possessed no ability to take on human form and fit in with the crowd.
Io mi misi umana.
Once she
Ok.
learned of my desires, she warned me that the potion's effects would only last 10 years, and if I were to fail to return to my original form at the
Non
end of
essere
that
metà
time,
né umana né animale né
forever
adepta. La
forget my
Madonna.
past as a crane and become
Madonna.
something neither human.
Oh no. So that was the source of your dementia all along.
Was it because of Grandpa?
Indeed, I fell in love. Though he was human, he had spent his entire life training on Mount Tianheng. When we met, it was not only my first foray
Esatto,
into the
sei
world below,
innamorata, ha
but
voluto
his
seguire
as well.
quest'uomo.
Although clumsy and impulsive
Uccellino
as he was,
smarrito.
you'd think he was the real strange bird among the two of us. But still, just like me, he cared deeply about the world and wanted, more than anything, to collect. I could not help but fall for him. But my time continued to tick away. Those 10 years passed by in a flash.
Oh no. What?
I committed an offense. I wanted to stay with him, even if it meant living a life full of pain and suffering. Even
lui
if it
comunque è
meant
rimasto
that
a
I would
fianco,
eventually turn into a monstrosity. I knew I had betrayed Master's hopes, but I was too ashamed to face her. So I wrote her a long letter instead and asked someone to leave it outside her abode. I was convinced that she would not support my decision, and I lacked the courage to speak to her face to face.
Lerina
In
senza
my
nome si
shame.
nascose.
But that was only the beginning of my troubles. I began to suffer from a strange illness.
My memories became hazy and confused, and I could no longer keep myself awake. I understood that my pain was caused by my refusal to return to the life I was fated to lead. Along with my memories as a crane, I soon forgot the true cause of my suffering as well. I knew only that I had committed a
continuare a
sin.
pregare e chiedere,
All I
chiedere
could do was pray
perdono.
for forgiveness, even if I had long forgotten what needed to be forgiven. Looking back, I was beyond lucky to have come across that traveling merchant at Wangshu Inn. It was such a fortunate coincidence that we were there at the
Eri
same
tu quel
time.
mercante,
If it weren't for those soul-revitalizing tea pills, I
Claudio
probably
Retene.
Granny, what's wrong?
Coincidence? Why did I ever think it was a coincidence? Tea pills concocted using the blood of an adeptus?
Claudio Retene, le hai permesso di vivere la sua vita.
Don't tell me. Back then,
Non eri
that merchant was
arrabbiata.
actually...
Human custom would dictate the conferral of gifts to be in order when one's progeny is wedded. Without, consider the pills a symbol of one's best wishes.
So when I tried to conceal my name and mistakes from the world and hide myself away in perpetuity, the only person I managed to deceive was myself. You knew where I was all along.
One still remembers when you were but a fledgling. You possessed a certain fondness for a particular game. You'd hide yourself among
nascondino
a
con le
wild
gru.
cranes and ask one to pick you out from among the flock. One found you with such ease every time. Tis a truth most evident. One always recognizes one's own.
Per farvi il piccione si
no matter
intendono.
what form it may take.
Wait! Paimon's confused!
No,
So,
ecco.
Cloud Retainer, you found Yuendai again? But...
Perhaps it is now time for one to recount the rest of the tale.
Vai. Cottesine. Ah no! Ci sono solo... Ho la gnocca. Dai, fammi vedere. 57,99 come sempre. Ovviamente il suo, molto bello. E perché sempre sto noblesse?
One was furious upon receiving your letter. Seized with anger, one set out to bring
Si
you
era
to your
arrabbiata.
senses.
Ha ammesso che si era arrabbiata perché giustamente, ma cosa fai? Ma cosa te? Non lo so dove andremo. Spero a Fontaine. Cioè, nel senso, in un posto di Fontaine. Minchia, l'anello del passato.
In truth, one had more than a few misgivings
Non lo
about your
so, non
chosen
ho idea.
partner. As an exorcist, his talent was lacking. One could hardly say his skill with sigils was any better. But soon, one came to appreciate the devotion he bestowed upon you during your illness. Never uttered a complaint, and rarely left your side. Unwilling to begrudge someone of such character, one decided to overlook his aforementioned deficiencies. Glaring
Ha
though
visto
they
che
may
era un
have been,
brav'uomo, quindi
wishing to grant you a life without regrets, one gathered many
ha usato il suo
divine
sangue.
ingredients and used one's own blood to create a form of medicine. Though imperfect, it managed to suppress the more dire effects of your illness. As for how to deliver the medicine, after
Ci
much
sei andata con quei
contemplation,
baffi?
one eventually decided to perform the deed oneself. One took great care to alter one's features and select the appropriate attire.
Con i baffi.
Only after meticulous scrutiny did one finally set out for Wangshu Inn. As one expected, you were most ignorant of one's true identity. You showed not even the slightest inkling of recognition. One was quite torn. Should one have celebrated the success of one's
Oh,
disguise?
dai,
or mourn
quando
the
le
loss of your
trainer.
acquaintance?
Sì, ma addirittura così tanto da dare il proprio sangue? E niente.
Nevertheless, one would speak to you about another matter, if you are amenable, even considering your loss of memory. One was simply flabbergasted that you could so easily forget the consequences of consuming medicine infused with adeptal blood. Its proclivity to attract
Però sono
monsters is
timidi.
hardly that complicated
La
of a
barriera.
concept to remember. To think that you tried to travel while weak from sickness
Gravida e
and heavy
fiaccata
with
dalla
child.
malattia.
Had one not intervened to clear the fog, all of you would have been lost during the night. Skyward!
Mamma mia, che bella.
Stray cloud converge!
Mamma mia, è stata... Scusami, minchia, l'attacco caricato è bellissimo.
Make way for the Adeptus!
Uno v uno, esatto.
Those monsters would hardly have pursued you with such ferocity without sufficient incentive. You were likely incited by the presence of godly remains. Said godly remains, in turn, were likely drawn to the trace of one scent on your body. One was, after all, an active participant in the Archon War. Some of the gods were likely shattered by contraptions of one's very making. In the end, one was relieved to see you endure through the night. At the break of dawn, one heard an infant's cry pierce through the air. And one saw you carefully cradle
si è
the
persino
child to your chest.
A vedere il
Although certain
bimbo.
mortal matters remain foreign to me, to see you happy, that was more than enough.
Si era arrabbiata, ma l'ha vista felice e l'ha lasciata andare. Perché adesso mi ricordo che la bambina Shulyu nell'evento
Now you
dell'Anterrite,
should have a
ditemi se
complete
sbaglio,
understanding of the events.
Wait, but if that's true, then the crane who took care of me when I was sick must also be...
Ah, one had almost neglected to recount the absurdities of that tale.
Vabbè che non ha detto niente perché sì. Guardala. Bislaccheria. Esatto, hai visto? Che linguaggio forbito. Arguto. Quei squilli.
Just as you and I troubled one with her antics, so did
Anche
you
tu hai
take
regalato
on
questa
many a
diagramma
headache.
di testa.
Upon finding you
Ha
burning with
vegliato su
fever,
di loro.
one made plans to bring you back to one's abode for treatment. However, upon seeing one's form, you began to cry, refusing to get on one's back. When one asked you why, apparently you believed that one could not possibly be
Ah,
a
si è
true
illuminato.
adeptus,
Quindi ha
because
cambiato
all
forma.
illuminated cranes are white from tip to toe. One had no choice but to apply powder to one's body to conceal the variegated nature of one's appearance. You became more than amenable enough when one stood before you devoid of any other coloring.
Oddio. Bellissima. Io voglio questa immagine per sempre. Io troverò questa immagine senza sottotitoli, me la terrò nel cuore. Bellissima.
It bears mentioning, however, that as a crane, Yuandai was nearly entirely pure white in color. Though you had never encountered her in that form, you still
Quindi la
recognized the
nonnina.
essence of her being. Perhaps fate brought you two together in more ways than one.
La schiena di Sempre, guarda la schiena. Quando vedevo la schiena nuda.
Now all
Adesso ho capito dove cavolo ha preso Yuki la schiena nuda.
One
Tutta
owes
colpa
you
di
an
Scioglie.
apology, Yuandai. One recognized you upon your very entrance into Wanmin restaurant.
No, ci devi delle scuse, signorina, perché c'è un
One
venuto
has
questo coso.
always viewed you as a disciple of equal standing with Ganyu and Shenhe.
Lo so. Madonna.
Indeed, one wished to bring your story to a satisfactory end with this visit to Liyue Harbor. Still, one could not reveal your identity right away. Had one simply informed you of all you had lost,
Un po' questo è
all
vero.
those cherished memories would merely have become the fictionalized account of another. Memories are most
facendo un
meaningful when
pensierino
recalled by those who live
ad
through them.
Arlecchino.
Would you not agree? Even if the process
non
was
posso.
painful and arduous to experience.
Non ho tempo, ho perso.
Have you any further inquiries?
Master,
Oh no.
I must ask. If you found me all those years ago, why did you leave me be, even
Perché
though
eri
you knew
felice?
about my
Cosa
mistake?
ci...
Why did you not bring me back to Mount Outsong by force?
One has never regarded your
come un
actions
errore, ma
as a
con le
mistake.
pure semplici scelte.
It was a simple choice, nothing more. When it is time for one's progeny to leave the nest, it is the responsibility of an elder to let them fly free. And when your wings grow weary and the night grows dark, just know that you always have a place to which to return. 'Tis a refuge referred to by many a name in mortal writing. Home,
Ma tanto
nest, haven.
ci sono, può chiudere la porta 2 secondi.
Its essence remains quite
Ma un'ora e mezza, non è durata neanche tanto di per sé.
One speaks, of course, of a place not unlike one's own abode.
La porta rimane
One's
sempre aperta
disciples
per
are
non
free to come
tornare.
and go as they wish. Yet the door remains forever open to those who wish to return.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No, sì, ce me la sono presa come un paio di occasioni, quello è vero, ma di per sé avevo paura sulle 2 ore.
Of your condition as of late. Have you not? 40 years ago, you chose a path without a future.
Sì, secondo me non era la portavo a casa.
Blood to provide you with a few decades of extra time.
Però ci sta, mezz'oretta in più non è niente di che.
Even the power of an adeptus has its limits. Had your condition continued to deteriorate, you would have forgotten your life as a human entirely. In the end, you would have turned into a creature lacking in the ability to even comprehend its own monstrousness. Fortunately,
E poi mannaggia l'Arlecchino alla lancia. Tu sai che amo le lance. Mannaggia a lei. La prima lancia di fuoco che uso per bene. Senza togliere Shalling che è fortissima, Buildate Shalling. Non fate come me. Buildatela. Vi aiuta in Abyss. Ah, non è morta. La ritrasforma.
She's gotta go back to being a regular crane, huh?
No, deve per forza tornare a essere una gru. Non muore. Ma piuttosto che la morte. È vero, anche Utao. Buildate Utao. Comunque la sto buildando Utao. Le manca solo una cosa ed è pronta praticamente. Quindi l'ho buildata Utao. A parte che Utao la sto buildando per l'Abyss. Buildate tutti per essere sempre pronti, esatto.
Master, you've already done more than enough for me.
Almeno
I don't know
9
how
sì.
I could possibly repay your kindness. This is a better result than I could have ever hoped for. How much time do I have left?
Not long. The transformation is
Esatto.
imminent.
Granny, please don't leave, okay? You're all I have.
E la prende come sua allieva.
Don't be sad, dear child. Granny has led a wonderful life. My only regret is having to leave you behind. Remember to eat well, okay? A growing young lady like yourself needs lots of good food to grow big and strong.
Promise Granny you'll take good care of yourself when I'm gone.
I promise, Granny. I'll do whatever you say.
Good girl. Good girl. Don't worry. It's not goodbye forever. Granny's gonna become the most formidable crane in all of Mount Outsung. Granny will train day and night. I won't stop until I can turn into a human without having to rely on anything but my own power. When that day comes, we'll be able to live together again. You and I. How's that sound?
Good.
That's a good girl. Even though we won't see each other for a little while, as long as we both work hard, we're sure to meet again someday.
I'll eat well, Granny.
No,
I
Lumi.
promise. And I'll wait for you, no matter how long it takes. I'll wait for you to come back.
That's a good girl. Then Granny really has no more regrets. I'm so sorry, Master. Thank you for everything.
Che carina che ero. Coccodè.
Shoo-you.
Let her be. At her age, crying is a natural, if not fitting response to such an event. Tears are a necessary part of maturation. Sometimes there is scarcely a better vehicle to wash away the toll of stress and misery.
Vaffanculo, Shagnon, non me lo dire così. Sto bene.
Now that the issue has been resolved, you should also take a moment to relax. Give yourself some time to rest. Take a nap if you must. One will wake you in due time.
No, è tranquillo, non hai rovinato niente. Vabbè, vai, sogna. La nonnina. Sì, lo so. Oh, dai.
I always believed we would see each other again, that our days of separation would finally end, and all my troubles would be behind me. If only things could stay this way forever.
Vabbè, Genshin deve andare a caccare, basta. Possiamo smettere di far piangere i protagonisti? Possiamo smetterla, per favore?
A nightmare? curious. If you're relaxed, shouldn't your dreams be pleasant?
It was a good dream. It's just...
You weren't ready to wake up.
Mi abbracci? Mi dai un abbraccio? Posso appoggiarmi dove vuoi? Scusate.
Eloquent as one may be, words of comfort are not one's strong suit. You are doing all you can. One can see your strength of will, your fearlessness in the face of danger. And so, whatever your dream may be, one believes that you shall achieve it. Of course, whenever the perils you face overwhelm you, or you become weary, one is always here for you. After all, as an elder, it is only right to look out for the young ones.
Ma adesso arrivano queste parole. Adesso arrivano queste parole. Cosci di pollo alla griglia, grazie.
Was Paimon sleeping just now?
È un pochino Paimon. E stava mangiando le cosce di pollo.
Paimon had a dream about eating grilled chicken sticks, that's all.
Madam Adeptus?
Oh, Shuyu, you're awake. How do you feel?
I feel a little better. Thanks. I know I'll see Granny again someday, so I don't feel so sad anymore. Madam Adeptus? Could I ask you
Ah,
something?
l'ha chiesto lei.
Would
È
you
giusto, è giusto.
take me in as a disciple?
Oh, and have you reasons for this sudden interest?
I know Granny thought what she did back then was wrong. She felt really bad about it. But without that mistake, I would have never been born. Even though Granny lost her memories, she never forgot to show me how much she loved me. So, I thought maybe one day I could become a cool adeptus like you and help a whole bunch of people, just like Granny wanted to do.
Upon some reflection, one supposes you are no mere mortal. The fact that Yuandai's blood flows through your veins
Beh, è
is
vero,
proof enough of
effettivamente
that.
lei è una mezza adepta.
If this is what you desire, one shall make it so.
Thank you so much, Madam Adeptus. No, I mean, Master.
E lei si sentiva sola,
Are you
adesso...
sure about this?
Adesso ha qualcuno.
Paimon's gonna let you in on a little secret. We've seen Cloud Retainer's two other disciples, and they pretty much eat nothing but bitter herbs like chin-chin and violet grass.
Non c'avevo dei fazzoletti da
If you
qualche
join them, you'll never
parte? Sì.
enjoy ramen restaurant's
ce l'ho.
delicious cooking
Ce l'ho.
ever again.
How utterly preposterous.
Non ha mai
One has
imposto.
never enforced such a rule. Every individual must find their own path to enlightenment. So long as one retains a pureness of spirit, one's dietary proclivities are quite irrelevant.
Well, you say that, but Paimon's not seeing any tasty treats up here now, is she?
Ci sono.
Although Mount Outsong is rich in natural beauty, its location does preclude access to certain finer mortal comforts.
Vabbè.
That is precisely why one plans to relocate to Liyue Harbor. Shu Yu shall have the honor
La
of
prima
becoming
discepola nel
one's
mondo
first
umano.
disciple in the
Che
human
bello.
world.
Whoa, you're leaving Mount Outsong?
One has never concerned oneself with the location of one's residence. From the very
Questo è
beginning,
vero.
one has sought only solace and peace. Yet in the end, all of one's disciples ended up in Liyue Harbor. Ganyu, Shenhe, Yuandai, they all chose a life among the mortal world. One has reflected on this fact for many years now. One can only assume that it is due to some failing on one's part as an elder
Poi
or
deve sempre
master.
tornare qui, comunque. Cioè.
A failing, perhaps, of recognizing what it was they truly wanted. One is most curious as to what aspect of Liyue Harbor could have enticed them to remain there. One could hardly offer an opinion on the matter, but perhaps some time in the harbor will prove instructive.
E
Why
tanto
are
puoi
you
tornare
all
qui.
so silent?
Paimon is, just a bit shocked, that's all. So, does this mean we can grab a meal together in Liyue Harbor sometime?
One has precious little
Perfetto.
time to squander. However, if one finds oneself otherwise unoccupied, one would not be opposed to the idea. One will be assuming the identity of a human while residing in Liyue Harbor. You should take care to avoid disclosing one's true identity.
E non che
Don't
serva
worry, we'll
mai.
help you keep it a secret. So, when can we expect to start seeing you in the city?
Perhaps in 2 days' time. One has some matters to see to before one's departure. Preparation is the key to success, after all. One plans to put up various items from one's collection for sale.
Va
The
bene.
earnings should provide for a comfortable living in Liyue Harbor.
Oh no, dobbiamo far passare
One
2
has
giorni.
already picked out a handsome property near Chuhu Rock. 'Tis no small purchase, but what is mortal life if not one expense
La
after
vita
another?
montana lunga secola di sborsi, mai frase fu più vera.
Seems like you've really thought of everything. Then how about we meet up in Liyue Harbor in 2 days?
No.
A sensible plan. See you then. Oh, also, why don't you take this suspense somnia mechanism as a
Sì, ma
souvenir?
le voglio nella vita vera
Anytime
sti
you should
cosi.
feel ill at ease in the future, you may try quieting your mind and sitting in meditation as you listen to its melodies. It might help you find a new perspective.
Awesome! Thanks, Cloud Retainer!
Li voglio davvero nella vita reale quei cosi, servono.
Didn't we promise Shincho that we'd tell him what we found out?
Ma non voglio
Should we
parlarne
make
con
a trip
tutti.
to the Feiyun Commerce Guild? It's totally up to you.
No, aspetto 2 giorni, a Shinju non dico niente. Lui... Voglio un abbraccio da nubiletto. Probabilmente non capirebbe il perché. Ma voglio semplicemente un abbraccio da nubiletto. Anche da Braio. Soprattutto per Braio. Voglio un abbraccio e basta.
Your concerns are excessive and unfounded. This is but a simple collection of ordinary valuables.
Oh no,
Such
eccola che
intense
comincia a
scrutiny is
litigare con la
hardly
gente.
necessary.
Proprio ambientata.
To be quite honest, in what way are any of these ordinary? Every single item here could be worth more than everything I own combined. I simply can't risk shelling out that kind of mora without proper scrutiny. If I'm wrong, I'll never be able to earn it back. Not even if I
Vabbè, ma
work
tu che
every
l'invenzione
single
della
day for the
Madonna
rest of
anche
my
lei.
life. I have to be careful. Yes, you can.
We're here, Cloud. Miss Shenyan. What are you guys arguing about?
Ah, perfect timing.
Ignorante.
This is questioning the authenticity of my wares.
Credo che sia il
I'll have
contrario.
you know, these items have remained untouched in my personal collection for several hundred
In
years.
secoli.
Question their legitimacy is pure folly.
Several hundred years?
È un modo di dire.
Indeed. They're family heirlooms, you see.
Esatto.
Passed down over many generations, as families are wont to do.
Yep, they've definitely been around.
Hear that? Had I not found myself in need of mora, I would scarcely have had the heart to part with them. Indeed, you should consider it an honor to even have the opportunity to behold them with your own eyes.
Aiuto, singhiozzo.
Doubt their authenticity any further, and I may just decide to take them to another buyer.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Please don't go! I apologize for any
Quanto veloce!
You see, I know full well that I lack the knowledge to judge
Quanto
the worth
veloce!
of these items. If you could wait but a moment, I've hired an expert to
Bravissimo.
appraise them for me. He should be here shortly.
An expert, you say? Very well. I will wait for a little while longer then. Traveler, Paimon.
Master! Oh, it's you two again. Hello.
E ovviamente è vestita decente. Le ha messo il vestitino carino. Che cazzo.
Shoo you! You got a new outfit! It looks great on you.
Mm-hmm. Master made it for me. I like it too.
Le ha messo anche i fiocchetti.
Huh? You know how to make clothes?
Va bene.
Do I know how to make clothes?
Ciao.
With the support of the proper mechanism, sewing is hardly a
È vero.
challenge.
Master, I brought in most of my stuff. There's a few boxes left, but they're kind of heavy, so...
Fret not. I shall help you move them into your room.
Oh, che carina.
Actually, I should probably sort through my stuff a bit first. Everything's kind of messy right now, so maybe you could,
It appears my young apprentice has her own fair share of secrets. No matter. Do what you must, child.
Tutti hanno un po' di segreti.
Now, this expert you mentioned.
Soon. Here, allow me to make some introductions. This is
Jolie.
Mr. Zhang, a well-respected consultant at Wangshang Funeral Parlor and an expert in all manner of valuables and antiques.
Che c'è sempre lui.
Mr. Zhongli, this is Miss Shen Yun. She's the one who's looking to sell the collection of valuables I mentioned earlier.
Huh.
Salve.
If it isn't Miss Shen Yun. It has been quite some time since our last meeting. What a serendipitous
Meno male che sa mentire.
Indeed, most serendipitous. Have you been faring well as of late, Mr. Zhongli?
Quite well, thank you. I was fortunate enough over the past few days to enjoy both a stroll in the mountains and a fresh brew
Sì.
of tea from the
Si
most
è preso
recent
subito per la
harvest.
passata in
The
montagna.
experiences left me with such insight and peace.
Huh. So you two are already acquainted?
Ma sì.
Indeed. How fortunate we are that fate has brought us together again. If you are otherwise unaware, allow me to inform you that Miss Shenyun is a well-regarded collector and appraiser. She is well-versed in all fields and often celebrated for her impeccable taste. You stand to gain much from this opportunity.
You are too kind, Mr. Zhongli. True collectors pride themselves on their wealth of knowledge and eye for detail.
Volete una
I can say
stanza?
without a doubt that you are foremost in that regard.
Why, you flatter me, Miss Shenyun. It would seem that you are as self-effacing
No,
as
da
ever.
volete una stanza?
Not at all, Mr. Zhongli.
While I am loath to butt into this conversation, you two already knew each other, and you seem to have quite a cordial relationship.
Ma scusa,
Can
prima
I be
ero lì
certain
tutto
that you're not
rispettabilissimo, ma
working
vuole
with this
stuffarti, ma
I
figurati.
mean, you never know.
A preposterous accusation. The heavens themselves would collapse before we would conspire to do such a thing.
Miss Shenyun speaks the truth. Contracts are built on honesty and trust. If that proves to be beyond your capabilities in this instance, this transaction may be taken elsewhere.
Say no more. Let us depart.
I jest. What fool would still harbor doubts after Mr. Zhongli himself has vouched for the goods? Miss Shenyun, wait. I deeply apologize for doubting you. So, Mr. Zhongli, could you please give me a final verdict on the value of these items?
E non dire una roba a
There is
caso,
no
per
cause for
favore.
concern. They are indeed rare and precious valuables. Take this mechanism, for instance. Though one may not immediately perceive its purpose, its structure and appearance are exquisite enough to merit it a place in any fine home. The same can be said for this one here. Few could hope to possess an item that so perfectly blends mechanical wonder I am sure you have heard from your travels that the study of mechanisms is among the most wondrous arts in this world.
All right. Since I hired you as my consultant, Mr. Zhongli, I shall, of course, trust your good opinion. Then, in that case, Miss Shenyun, I'll take the lot. However, since the final sum is quite large, how about we start with an initial deposit to the Northland Bank?
The Northland Bank? Huh. Oh, you refer to the fiduciary house. Oh, very well.
I fear people only use the term bank nowadays. In that case, I'll be off for now. I'll return to collect the goods once you've received the funds.
Giusto, lecito. Russa? Sospira più che altro.
My friends, have you been doing well?
Sì.
We've been great. How about you? Paimon didn't know you were such a busy consultant.
Questo fa.
My days have been quite pleasant as well. I had been quietly enjoying a cup of tea when Mr. Xiaozu requested my services. As for you, Miss Shenyun, I presume you must be looking to settle in the city?
Sì, ha preso una
I
casetta.
must say, the name Shenyun sounds exceedingly strange coming from you. Perhaps you could dispense of that
Maniera più
particular
informale.
epithet in further
Madonna,
conversation.
raga.
Whatever for. Am I not addressing you as a friend should?
Oh.
Well, that is true, but... Alas, refer to me however you will.
Alas.
After all, a name exists such that others...
It would seem that you have gained many valuable insights over the years, Cloud Retainer.
One has indeed. One's previous stays were all brief. Now that one has made up one's mind to move and settle,
Bella, è una
one
cosa
has
molto
gained a
carina.
much better... This city is much changed from how it was more than 1,000 years ago.
Not unlike the ocean tides, so too shall the movement of people ebb and flow. From turmoil to peace, enlightenment to aspiration.
Alright, that's enough reflection for one day. No need to get all sent.
You make a valid point, Paimon. Now that the sale has concluded, what say one plays the host as we try some specialty dishes together?
Alzo preso mani bambù casualmente il piatto preferito di Jolie.
Perhaps you have forgotten, Cloud Retainer, but I once tried my hand at that dish. You were at the table on that occasion, so...
Oh? What occasion was this?
It was a reunion between friends several centuries ago. Alas, you must have been too preoccupied to secure yourself a portion. Or perhaps our other companions simply availed themselves of faster reflexes on that occasion.
Simpatico.
Hardly. 'Twas most certainly out of consideration for the others in attendance. In but a moment, one will show you what it means
La
to
mano
have true
lesta,
deafness in
regà.
hand. It is
Stiamo
so
andando.
bamboo shoot soup, mora meat, crab roe tofu, triple layered consommé. We shall enjoy the lot.
No, lasciamoli da soli
One has
questi qua.
already passed word to Shenhun Ganyu to make a reservation. It is
It should be a most splendid occasion.
Shu Yu, come now, it is time to dine. Ah, this gentleman over here is Mr. Zhang Li.
Glielo vuoi dire?
He is,
A humble employee of Wangsheng Funeral Parlor.
Certo.
Pleased to make your acquaintance.
È meglio non dirglielo effettivamente.
That should be everyone, right? Let's go.
Sounds good. Actually, Master, have you ever tried Adeptus' temptation? I heard it's impossible to stop eating after even just one.
That sounds rather implausible. Although with the right preparation, certain dishes can...
Huh? Why are you all walking so fast? Hey, wait for Paimon!
Vola!
Hey, wait up!
No, ma che bella che è stata, che bella, 2 ore quasi spaccate, siete stati bravissimi, che bellina, bella bella, mi è piaciuta tanto tanto. Mi è piaciuta tanto tanto, molto bellina.
Melusines are beautiful creatures. They are the pride of Fontaine.
Molto bella, bella bella. Mamma mia, mi dispiace per l'essermi emozionata, ma sono robe che mi hanno commosso dentro, essendo che comunque io ribadisco, per chi mi segue da tanto, sono molto emotiva e ci sono delle cose che ultimamente stanno, pensieri, robe accadendo in questi giorni, e diciamo che queste parole mi hanno colpito dentro in maniera positiva, sia chiaro, mi stavo commuovendo letteralmente. È stato tutto molto molto bellino comunque. Grazie mille tutti per essere passati. Noi ci vediamo domani sera con la Coop Night in cui ci divertiremo insieme al prof. Quindi ciao ragazzuoli. Ciao 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 ciao.